Okay, and we are back, and we were just ended up by talking about the ringing of the bells, and a central point in this book, Memoirs of Cole Bay Village, that section is about the Methodist Church. So could you give us a little bit of history about the Methodist Church and specific traditions that came from the Methodist Church in Cole Bay?
What teacher told me is the Methodist Church, that was the only church in Cole Bay that had the bell. So when someone passed away, someone would go to the church and ring that bell, toll, they call it tolling, so that you would know. They knew by the way the bell was rang that it was someone died in the village. The other times the bell will ring is on a Sunday morning to let us know, or let the people know church will going to soon start. And then it would ring again just before church starts. So you know church is going to begin just now. And in the afternoon for Sunday school, the bell will ring. That's 3 o'clock. And then for evening service, the bell will ring again.
And this bell, somebody had to go there and physically...
Somebody had to physically go and ring that bell, yes.
Did she do that, or...?
Teacher used to do it, and there was this gentleman named Gerald Richardson. He used to do it, and Mr. Lamar used to do it, and Miss Dina Bell. They used to go and ring the bell at the church for these things. And next time the bell will ring is for a wedding.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that, for a wedding.
And for funeral. For the funerals, she said, when the funeral is about to start, just before they reach to the church, the family reach to the church, they will ring the bell, and then they would go inside the church with the person. And she said when the service was over, they would come out to the body and everything in the and put them in, take them out. But the thing about it is, she said there were no hearse. No hearse. She said when she was a little girl, they used to, the bell would keep tolling till it reached a certain distance away from the church.
Okay.
But she said it was always 8 persons, 4 to hold a chair each, and 4 to hold the casket until it reaches to Cole Bay Cemetery. She said when they walk a certain distance, they would exchange. So the one that is carrying the chairs would be the one now taking the casket, and vice versa. And because it's heavy, and it's a distance to walk. They come from the church and walk, going all the way down Cole Bay and going to Cole Bay and so on. So she said that's the way the funerals were in those days.
That's really interesting. Until
afterwards, when they started to get little vehicles to take the
Is there anything else specific about that time of Cole Bay Village? What was Cole Bay Village like? Like, I know one of the things is, like you said, it was the only church, so the people from Simpson Bay used to come over to church.
Yes, I understood that Miss Louise from Simpson Bay, Louise Harley, she shared that with me, that her godmother said that they used to come from Simpson Bay on a little dinghy boat.
Oh, really?
And there were...
but the bridge wasn't built, I'm guessing. Then.
It wasn't like that. The bridge wasn't really like that. You know, it was a little small bridge between, But she said before all of that, to get to Cole Bay or on the other side, they had to come on a dinghy and come up to where the casino is in Cole Bay. They used to come off there and walk it up to Cole Bay and go to the church, and then leave there and go back and wait there for the dinghy to come and take them back to Simpson Bay in teacher childhood days.
That's really interesting.
That's the way for them. And if you follow some of the history of the Methodists in St. Martin, Cole Bay is where Methodism started, yes. And so people were coming from different areas to worship there, and worship in Cole Bay. Yes.
Or because it was
yes. Because according to what I gathered is that they started in, John Hodges would come and preach in Marigot. but they didn't want that. They ran them, and they end up on the Dutch side. Yes, so they end up in Cole Bay, and everybody used to come there to worship. Phillipsburg, whatever area, right there in Cole Bay, until everybody got their own.
Yes, really at the heart of Methodism in Denmark.
Yeah, and you remember, you know something? That part I remember though, that it still was going on when I knew myself. When a person deceased, there were no morgue, so they used to keep the body in the house, and there's where wake came in. People used to have a wake because they would stay up with the family members and so until the following day of the time to bury the body. And now it come out I don't know what I should call it, because now even the dead is not in the home, the dead is in the morgue. And people are still doing all of these type of things, and now it come grand, because in those days they staying up and drinking coffee and eating crackers, soda biscuits. Yeah, those kind of things, what they were doing. And they would stay outside maybe playing domino or singing songs and hymns, and so that's what I call awake. So that was the purpose of awake. But it's different now. Right? So, and I find so those two things for me was, wow. How they took the body to the cemetery, and how they, why they had a wake, yes. And I can understand them doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, and we're back. And so now for the closing question, I want to hear about what you learned from teacher about let's say the history or the way of life for people in Cole Bay village at that time. Can you describe a bit of this to us? I know she mentioned.
Yeah, she mentioned systems, and she mentioned wells. She said they used well water. They were well, like in KB had a well. Down in the well road had, I think a well was down there. There's one.
More than one?
They had more than one well in Cole Bay. They had more than one well, but I think the one that was used most is the one in Well Road.
Okay.
Yeah, and people used to use the well water to take care of the cows, for washing, for cleaning, and whatnot. They used to, what do you call that? With buckets, draw water from the well. Yeah. And pour in whatever it is they needed to use, and walk and go with it to wherever they were living to use to get the water to clean. Some of them put them on the head, yes, some put their head, some had head and the buckets in their hands, both hands, and they would walk and go with them. And it was used mostly, she said, for the animals, because they would take the animals to the well. There were troughs and all those type of things where they would pour the water into it, and the cows or the sheep, whatever animals, would drink water from it, and then they would take them back to wherever they have to pen the animals. That's
an interesting question for me, because I think like Simpson Bay is known as a fishing village. So, because you mentioned animals, is that what Cole Bay was known for? How did most people have what was their career? Were most people raising livestock?
They had livestock. We had different families in Cole Bay had a lot of cows, mostly cows, cows and sheep, goats. And I understood that they used to purchase some of the livestock from St. Bart's.
Yes.
That's what I understood. Yes. So it had to be, got to be the animals, because they used to provide the schools and all with milk.
Oh, really?
Yes. They used to provide the public schools with milk from animals. They used to sell milk to people in the village. They used to, I think some of them they would give to people who probably didn't have it, because I realized Cole Bay, I can't speak for other areas, but I know Cole Bay people, they always looked out for people, whether they were from Cole Bay or not. They looked out for the people, so they would help, they would give.
Okay.
So she said different to the well, there were cisterns.
Okay.
And I know about the cisterns. because cisterns were built either under the porch of their homes or on the outside of their house and on their property. And that too is drawing water from the cistern in buckets to get whatever you want to do. They didn't have a pressure pump. So I think later on, she said, people started building their bathrooms and putting tanks on the top of the bathroom, the roof, and they had something with a pump, and they would have had a pipe run from the cistern to those things and pump the water to fill the drums on the roof. So, and you know that's gonna have the pipes connected inside in the shower area so they could have shower.
So that would have been later.
Yeah, a little later. But she said before it was bathing in buckets or tubs or whatever. That's the way they had it. Yeah, and people who didn't have a cistern, they used to save the water in drums. They put spouts coming from the roof, and they put it toward in the goods, and they could run into the these tanks. And if they're using it for water to drink, for drinking water, they would have these white, clean cloth over the drum, tie them so that no mess don't go down in the water. The cistern, for water to go down the cistern, was from spouts too, coming from the roof. So the water can go down from the roof, go in the spout, and go down into the cistern. They had that same type of thing. And you know, nowadays they tell you to be so conscious about health, drinking water and whatever. These people were drinking the water out of those cisterns, just like that. Yeah. So there were different ways of getting water to use for their home, to use for drinking, for cooking, for cleaning. Yes.
I have another question. What about transportation? Because there was a part in the book that I remember where she said that there was a point that the Leonard Connor School was closed.
In Cole Bay, closed, yes.
Because there was like a note that they felt like the Dutch education
she said
wasn't
it wasn't
enough.
Yes,
So
that's what
students had to go over to Orania School.
Yes.
How did they get there, and how were people
in the
moving around?
beginning they said they walked it over all where the cars coming down. Now I think that road name is Alred Peters Road.
The new cut.
Yes.
Okay, because that's what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
The
I
main
think
way
she
is
said
in
they
there.
had a shortcut through that way. Some of them used to go that way, but they got to school on time. They went to school, and she said after a lot of years that school was going on in Cole Bay, this public school, that they closed it down and said she said the Queen them said that they weren't teaching their children, their people, sufficient Dutch, and the Dutch wasn't on the level she felt needed, so take them to Orania School in town, which was another public school too.
Now, when you were growing up, you went COVID, did you go to Orania School?
I went, no, because I went to Leonard Connor School because it had reopened.
Open at that time?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And apparently, when it closed, they had it like a dance hall.
Really?
Yes. That was shared with me by a member from our church, Freddie Maku. He said there was a dance hall. So, yes. No school, they turned it into a dance, yes, for dance, yes. And he said he can remember a little boy, they were living next door, and when the dance is over, he said, in the morning when they get up, he said the amount of coins they would find in the yard there from the school, you know,
oh my God.
and thing, yeah. So they ended up going to Phillipsburg with Orania School there, which is a public school also.
Public school. So I'm interested in that dynamic.
But buses came after too, huh? The buses started coming.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
buses started. Yes.
Or people
pick them up and take them to town and back. Yes.
So at that time, or her time, before, because we call it Cole Bay a village, would you say Cole Bay was significantly less developed? Because Cole Bay is kind of, I want to say, in between. You have Marigot, there are two capitals on either side. You have to go over the hill to go to Phillipsburg, and Marigot, you don't want to go over the hill, but it's on the other side. Was Cole Bay much less developed, you think, than the two? So it was like... countryside or village?
It was just, listen, I think we could count the houses in Cole Bay. You knew everybody where they lived. And it had, they were so developed now, on the opposite side of the church. Go right down to East. Go right back to the lagoon. That was, most of it was, we called it the grass piece. People used to carry their cows in there. The cows used to feed in there. And behind of that was the pond. Now what we call the lagoon.
Really? Okay, we're back. So back to you were talking about where people, the horses or the cows used to, I say, was it horses or just
the dog, cows and so used to graze in the grass piece. We used to call it grass piece. On the opposite side was dense bush, but had a lot of fruit trees in between in there. The Cole Bay Road was, the whole of Cole Bay Road was those slave walls on both sides, dirt road. When I was a little girl, dirt road, there were no lights, no street lights. And then when you go a little further down, you're going to meet one or two homes, big homes though. And then you go, you find another set of places where bush. And that went on all in Bellevue, go to until you reach St. James. The most, listen, there were hardly any houses really in Cole Bay. But it was a lot, and it had a lot of bush.
A lot of bush.
Wow. A lot of bush.
But you said, I mean, I know local people probably had their own fruits and vegetables in the yard, but people were more doing the livestock than the gardening.
No, it had a lot of, they were doing both. They were doing both, yeah, because the place that I was very familiar with was the Krytoff property. They used to grow pigeon peas, sweet potato, tanya, all these type of things. They had their own cows and goats and sheep. They had these fruit trees in the yard. Do you know about the calabash? They have a tree called calabash. They had a big one in the yard. And then all these guava trees, mango, different type of cashew trees, all type of trees they had. A lot of fruits. Chicken, they had a big chicken coop. So because remember, there was no electricity. So everybody was dependent on lamp and lanterns. So there was no way to preserve your meat stuff. So it was good that they had the animals. They could have go and kill one of the animals and to cook. If they buy fish from the fisherman, they would and
they would normally go to Simpson Bay or
people used to go to Simpson Bay too to buy fish, but if those people used to come through the village and blow the conch shell, so you knew that the fisherman was coming, and they used to sell a fish by the strap. A strap of fish had cost X amount. And then this thing we call lobster and conchs and all that, they used to throw that in for you because they used to sell the lobster.
I know, that's so funny. And
yes, and now, yes, yes. So the fishermen from Simpson Bay used to come up and sell their fish. Water too, when drought, the government used to have people go around, the water truck used to go around to the people's home for them to have water. Fill them in the drums or fill them in the cistern and all of that. Those things used to happen from in teacher time, and as well as when I was a little girl. I can remember that as well. Yes.
I really would keep you, especially this trip. Just getting this picture of what Cole Bay and to some extent Simpson Bay was, because it kind of connected back in the day, is so interesting to me. Maybe I'll have to come back another time just to talk about as well. But the sentiment that's coming to me that I want to ask is because we see in Memoirs, even in Cole Bay, I don't know if you're aware about the ruins that were destroyed.
Destroyed, yeah.
So when I'm hearing this, and you already see a village that isn't the way it was, there's some remnants of it because I think the church is there. As
the church is still there, and the Lanarkana school is still there.
How does it make you feel to see, this development? Because I know it's progress, but I always feel hurt about it. Like, man, I wish I knew the St. Martin that you all knew that extent. Because, I mean, I have memories of a child, but not that far back. Like, and what do you think about?
There are some homes in Cole Bay that are there, and some of the family are trying to preserve them, which I find is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some demolished theirs, some they didn't really see the need. They probably sold them to other people and whatever. But there are areas in Cole Bay that I would still pass and remember my childhood days because there were my mother was from Nevis, and her husband, which was my stepfather, he too was from Nevis. But we born on the French side. I born on the French side, and I grew up in Cole Bay. These people that I grew up around, they were like your mother away from your home, because if something happened in our home, we were running to this particular neighbor for help.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have any sugar or a little bit of rice while you were cooking, you could have go there and get some, and they give it to you, you know. So these people used to really look out. They had this close knit
community.
Yes, yes. So they looked out for people. That slogan about they have this saying, it takes a community, right? It existed in those times.
It takes a village to raise a child.
And you know, people could have beat your child too.
Yeah.
Scold your child. Yes, it was okay. It was okay. Yeah.
Do you miss these days? And what can we do? What can we do? Can we preserve it? What would, I don't know. What?
Now, all this what's happening now is progress.
Progress.
Yes, it's progress. Yes, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy that I passed through that, so I know what it was, and I can appreciate the people. From then, I can appreciate all what I see there. Sadly, some of the things are gone, but as life continues, and we just have to try to have a say in them demolishing any other building or any kind of thing that is a sentimental meaning behind of it.
Are there any other sentimental landmarks to you in Cole Bay? Like, well, you mentioned a church, the Leonard Conner.
Yeah, but Leonard Conner School apparently is going to be demolished because of, I think they said it has a lot of termites and all type of thing. What I would hope that they would rebuild it in a similar structure, the way it was from the original structure. I would hope they do it like how Phillipsburg Methodist Church is. They try to maintain it the way yes.
And
I would hope they do that.
Great if we could keep more I don't know to say, like sites where you have something people can read about. Even if it's not there, you can see like a picture. This is what this was, and so people know where the historic sites were in our community, and that way we could keep some of this Cole Bay history.
I wish though, I wish they had keep some of those old wooden homes though. I wish so, because I didn't know that they had sell the property where we were living, because that was a wooden structure where the bottom was from slabs of concrete, and then they had a cistern and everything. Yes, and the building was from wood, and that's why I built my home. I couldn't build the outside from wood, but inside my floors and my ceiling is a memory of my childhood days. Yes, I held on to that, because had I known, I would have taken a picture of that house.
If you had pictures,
I would have done that, but I didn't know that they were going to demolish those 2 buildings in that yard. And I kept saying I have to go by Ruby View to see if she did have a painting of one of those old, so that I can have one. Yeah.
This has been a fantastic talk. I am so glad that we had the opportunity to do it. And whenever you are seeing this, if you want to learn more about Sister Albertina Georgette Joe and Memoirs of Cole Bay Village, I know the lighting isn't the best. You can get the book written by Sister Agnes Aventurin. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.